Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. Rubin's Global History class online. Today's Thursday, April 30th. Today we have on our agenda one task, and it's to read two documents on the history of Australia, the day 3. The first day we looked at the historical circumstances of James Cook. What was his reasoning to coming, and discovering Australia? The second day was the prison colony aspect and the child convicts. And we discussed whether or not these crimes that they were being punished for were they like fair. Many of you, looking back on your work, said it wasn't. Some of them were very petty, like theft. Some of these children were like 7 years old, being sent to work in Australia because of the American Revolution, and most of them were indentured for life. And I say indentured because that was a thing, but many of them were tied to prison sentences, like life sentences. Today we're going to look at the history of Australia, day 3, by looking at the ideology that these white settlers had towards the Australian Aboriginals. Now, you may not know what an Aboriginal is or who they are, but the term Aboriginal has been used for long periods of time since the first contact with these white Europeans and the Australian inhabitants of literally means like indigenous or native, okay? So these native peoples did have their culture. They still do have their culture, but there was a point in time where it was hindered. So they were losing their sense of culture because of this forceful assimilation by the Europeans. Okay, and these ideologies that they came up with that impacted their way of life. Now, here's a quote here I have from an individual from the Wiradjuri Nation. Now, forgive me for my pronunciation, but this is a person who demonstrates that they still had their sense of culture, and that they had one, because many Europeans did not believe that they were cultured or had a sense of civilization. So, for time immemorial, we believe as Aboriginal people, Australia has been here from the first sunrise. Our people have been here along with the continent with the first sunrise. We know our land was given to us by Bayami. We have a sacred duty to protect the land. We have a sacred duty to protect all animals that we have an affiliation with through our totem system. So this quote demonstrates belief system and purpose, okay, which was overseen by the European and explorers. Here we have dancing rituals, and we have what these individuals look like today from when they were in the past, okay, which would be something on the left. So they do still have a sense of culture. So I have two documents for you today. One, demonstrating the ideology that many white Europeans had, which dictated how they would treat the other. Okay, this other is the indigenous inhabitants, the Aboriginals of Australia. Once you read that, I want you to answer these 3 focus questions on this quote. I'm gonna leave this to you to read. You have 3 questions. What is the purpose? Does this notion, means idea, remind you of anything or anyone from history? And why would this attitude be problematic for the native people of Australia's? Once you're done with that, you're going to want to document 2, read the historical context and the quote itself. This very powerful document, hard to find. I had to look at a lot of online sources and ask myself, are these reliable? Once you're done with that, I want you to look at this pyramid of hate. You've seen this before, this pyramid of hate. I want you to place where do you think these actions or these ideologies would fall on this pyramid. Okay? And you're going to tell me why. I want you to write everything directly on the slide. You're not going to have a document today. I think it's easier if you just look at one thing rather than be flipping back and forth. And once you're done with the assignment for today, you're going to go ahead and submit, as always, for you to receive credit. Reminder, if you do the work and you pass the class, you pass the Regents. All right? Well, that'll be all for today. Email me if you have any questions, concerns, and I'll see you on Tuesday. And Friday will be an optional assignment if you need the makeup day credit.